In a new court filing, the SEC claimed that at least 9 digital assets listed on the cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase are unregistered securities. Coinbase has recently listed Cardano on the exchange, and ADA has become available in the Coinbase supported regions. With the recent report from the SEC, is Cardano safe? If Cardano is one of the coins listed as securities by the SEC, then it turns out that the Bitcoin maximalist Michael Saylor was right after all. But what all does this mean? Well, let's get into the video to find out more. And as always, be sure to watch to the end to not miss out on a single thing. Regulatory concerns have been on the rise over cryptocurrencies and related businesses all around the world, with crypto assets like XRP, which was accused of being a security by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, and Binance, which had faced strict warnings all over. The crypto industry may want to remain cautious. According to the SEC, a security is anything that is sold or transferred for a value in which the purchaser depends on the seller to increase the value of the purchased thing. Attorney Jeremy Hogan stated that the SEC has successfully established that simply marketing a cryptocurrency in a certain way can be evidence that there was a common enterprise for profit between the seller and the buyer. The SEC also sees most ICOs as sales of securities, which has pushed many projects like ADA and DOT into the danger zone. However, according to Hogan, ADA managed to avoid the legal complications of an ICO in the USA as its ICO took place in Japan. A year ago, Jeremy Hogan shared his outlook on the possibility that several large-cap digital assets will face future security lawsuits from the SEC. He explained how likely the SEC is to go after Cardano, Dogecoin, Polkadot, and Uniswap based on the danger rating of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most likely. The attorney noted that ADA was first released as an initial coin offering, something he claimed is problematic to potential SEC lawsuits. However, he said that Cardano has protected itself with a smart legal maneuver. The general thought at the SEC is that almost all ICOs are sales of securities. However, Cardano did something that was legally very smart. Its initial coin offering took place in my old stomping grounds of Japan, which, as you may have heard, is very legal friendly to crypto. About 95% of the ICO was to Japanese nationals, and from those sales went to exchanges for sales to Americans. Ultimately, Hogan said that there was still some danger and possibility that the SEC will do after Cardano later on. So, is it the time now? Hogan had limited his danger rating for ADA to 2.5 out of 10, stating, "As soon as the SEC sues exchange number 1, the other exchanges will also delist, but it's never been done before, so the danger is somewhat remote." Back then, Cardano was quite safe, but what about now? Well, let's recall that Michael Saylor had allegedly called it a security previously. According to the reports, the SEC has announced the listing of 9 digital crypto tokens as securities. These digital assets include AMP, RLY, XYO, RGT, LCX, POWR, DFX, and KROM. The complaint resulted in the arrest of an ex-Coinbase employee under the accusation of wire fraud. Also, insider trading charges were announced against a former Coinbase product manager, his brother, and his friend for perpetrating a scheme to trade ahead of multiple announcements regarding certain crypto assets that would be made for trading on the Coinbase platform. The SEC is now officially terming specific cryptocurrencies as securities this time. Its complaints and charges clarifies its current stance that most cryptocurrencies are securities. Guber Grewal, director of SEC's Division of Enforcement, said, "We are not concerned with labels, but rather the economic realities of an offering. In this case, those realities affirm that a number of the crypto assets at issue were securities, and as alleged." The landmark charges emanated from the insider trading charges in which the SEC's complaint specified. Our message with these charges is clear. Fraud is a fraud, whether it occurs on the blockchain or Wall Street. The SEC complaint dealt with each of the 9 tokens individually to address their interpretation as securities in the complaint document. In this 62-page document, the SEC stated, each of the 9 companies invited people to invest on the promise that it would expect future efforts to improve the value of their investment. In a tweet, the CTFC Commissioner Caroline Pham described the development as a striking example of regulation by enforcement. Also, the SEC said that the 9 tokens contain the hallmarks of the definition of a security, including the continuous representations by issuers and their management teams regarding the investment value of the tokens, the managerial efforts that contribute to the token's value, and the availability of secondary markets for trading the tokens. In a recent blog post, Coinbase stated that the company had filed a petition with the SEC to improve rulemaking on digital asset securities. Our petition calls on the SEC to develop a workable regulatory framework for digital asset securities guided by formal procedures and a public notice and comment process rather than through arbitrary enforcement or guidance developed behind closed doors, the company has said. Meanwhile, Chromatica Finance, the Ethereum-based DEX aggregator behind the CROM token, responded to the SEC's allegation of insider trading at Coinbase and the Commission's inclusion of the CROM token as one of the unregistered securities on the exchange. It has been brought to our attention that our token, CROM, is mentioned in a complaint for insider trading. The complaint is towards an employee of Coinbase. We, Chromatica Finance, are not involved in this case, nor are our employees, Chromatica tweeted. According to Chromatica, its team was not consulted by Coinbase for potential listing, and is confident that Coinbase will help the authorities to resolve the situation and properly clear their name. Fortunately for Cardano, it is exempted from this trouble. Cardano has so many plans and works on the table that situations like this serve as distractions, thereby affecting the trajectory of its growth. The SEC has always had a complicated, though mostly hostile, view of the crypto industry, and so many people have concluded that Cardano could not resist being one of its unlucky victims. And while in the past, through public statements made by former officials, the SEC said that it does not consider both Bitcoin and Ethereum to be securities. However, the current chairman, Gary Gensler, has had quite a negative view. Last month, he told CNBC he would only say for certain that Bitcoin was not a security, while sidestepping the question about Ethereum. Currently, it's unclear whether the SEC plans to pursue charges against Coinbase over its listing of the 9, and probably more, unregistered securities. The commission has threatened the crypto exchange with a lawsuit last year, which resulted in the company letting go of its interest-earning Lend product. Paul Grewal, Coinbase's legal officer, emphasized the fact that the SEC charges have placed a spotlight on a very important problem, which is that the US does not have a clear or workable framework for digital asset securities. Instead of crafting tailored rules in an inclusive and transparent way, the SEC is relying on these types of one-off enforcement actions to try and bring all digital assets into its jurisdiction, even those assets that aren't securities. As long as the SEC has not established a definite system to determine whether digital assets are securities or not, Cardano ADA is still safe. Generally, this year has been bad for the cryptocurrency market, considering how the first half played out. Bitcoin and Ethereum are down more than 50% from their all-time highs, and Cardano has plummeted below the $1 level. There have been small surges in recent weeks, but the crypto market as a whole is greatly stalled. While no one knows for sure, some experts say crypto prices could fall even further before any sustained recovery. All the while, people's interest in crypto remains high, not only among investors, but in popular culture too, thanks to long-standing investors like Elon Musk. Well, the industry is still in its infancy and is constantly evolving. That's a big part of why massive drops can easily follow every new Bitcoin high. It is difficult to predict how things will turn out, but in the coming months, optimistic experts believe that things like regulation and institutional adoption of crypto payments will try to get a better sense of the market. With the concern of whether or not it's a security kept at bay, Cardano can proceed and focus on rolling out important hard forks and upgrades, thereby improving the entire crypto space. The upcoming Basel hard fork is the most anticipated. But as always, what are your thoughts about this? Let us have them in the comment section below. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you don't want to miss out on future important updates, be sure to click on the subscribe and notification button so that you can be notified immediately when we upload a new video on ADA News. Until then, you can watch our other videos to find out how ADA got here, and we'll see you in the next video.